Hi, I'm Carrie Blazer, the Divine Feminine, reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. Thank you for clicking on my clip. But I want to let you know that I have a free ebook linked below, my 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies. They will help you transform your emotional wounds into personal wisdom. And I take a multidisciplinary approach. I include the laws of physics, psychology, neuroscience, shamanism, mysticism. I went wild, okay? So men can understand and women can understand. There's something there for everyone because what I learned is when something's true, it's true in multiple places. All right, please like and subscribe and help me distribute my ebook to everyone for free by exploding my channel. Take care. Enjoy the clip. Bye. He was telling me that, or he told the whole class, it was in the 1910s and there was a major conference in Tokyo for the Buddhist monks, the top Buddhist monks. And during their break, they would go down by the river and they would have sex with young boys, and it wasn't considered sex. Now, because Japan has, an interesting sexual past, this could be part of the assimilation that they didn't believe that that was wrong, you know, but they were underage boys and they were calling themselves celibate. Men connect with women to access the innocence of femininity. There's a lot of innocence in little boys. But let me bring up what I found on ChatGPT to help me out a little bit, discuss this topic in a little more detail, and share more about some of how connected Dr. Grapard was to the Buddhist monks. And then I'm going to use some of the analysis from my 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies to kind of ask some more questions, okay? And Allan Grapard, he was a huge supporter of Foucault. And there's a lot of allegations about Foucault supporting pedophilia. ChatGPT didn't show that. But, I asked it. I said that, here you can see, Dr. Grapard was a huge supporter for Foucault. How does that play into this pedophilia thing? Okay, let's look. So the history of sexuality, that was just huge for him. And that was really encouraged for us to read, and use as analysis in Buddhist and Taoist, in East Asian religious texts. Well, the Taoists weren't celibate, but we mainly focus on the Buddhists. And we need to read the history of sexuality to focus on the Buddhists. You know what I'm talking about? A little sus, a tad sus, okay? I wasn't really into Foucault. I didn't get into that. And I applied for the PhD program and didn't get in because that's not what I needed. I needed to have 3 kids, open my heart as a mother, and find all the wisdom inside of my own heart. And so that's what I did, and I experienced enlightenment on my own 2 years ago, and now I experience it regularly. But okay, let's get back to the history of sexuality. Sexuality is not just private behavior. It is regulated and constructed through social and institutional power, and that's true. That's true. Western and non-Western societies have historically disciplined, categorized, and policed sexual behavior. Totally true. What is labeled deviant is often a function of power dynamics, not intrinsic moral or biological evil. Okay? So that's where they start. And Allan Grapard's scholarship is heavily influenced by Foucault's ideas. Grapard studied religious institutions, ritual authority, and social control in Japanese Buddhism and Shinto. He examines how power, ritual, and discipline shape behavior and perception. Foucault's influence means Grapard may interpret homoerotic or sexualized historical practices in monastic communities as structured by cultural and institutional norms, not purely individual vice. And that's what I was getting into. When Buddhism came to Japan, it had to assimilate to Japan. You don't see those fallacies in China